everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the series. Since I last saw you, I have done a live stream where I ended up installing a couple more smelter setups. In episode 17, we ended up with only this iron smelter here, but since then I've added in a steel smelter, stone brick smelter, as well as copper plate over here. I've also added in a line here for stone ore, but we have yet to do a line for coal, which we will get done in today's episode. But before we move on to that, here are a couple highlights that you missed from the live stream. So this will be copper. Did it line up well? It's fine. This is temporary anyway. Alright, there we go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No! Run away. Why am I struggling? Oh, the many things we talk about during live streams. So with all of this kind of prepped for episode 18, what I'm hoping I can get done in today's episode is start to kind of move in and make the new base more functional. But to really do that, I need to start actually utilizing my plan for the main bus, which is to have basically just this long circular belt, just the one belt for now, where we're going to have tons of cars traveling on it. I don't have any cars on me, it looks like. But let's start placing a couple cars down on there, and then we'll start adding in some timers and combinators and kind of some circuitry and stuff like that to start adding in some pauses for the cars and start loading the products going from the main bus lines into the cars. So I know I have plenty in my storage for now, so I'm just going to grab from there. Crap, I don't have any wire automated, but I can do that really easily just in my pocket. So let's start to do that just passively. And it just occurred to me, so I should add in, let's see, there's is it over here? I guess I didn't include it in the blueprint. But there is a way to load the cars kind of onto the bus line here. I guess we'll worry about that later. Let's just do it manually for now. But there is a fancy way that isn't included. But I think if we just do it the old-fashioned way like that, that will be okay for now since it's just going into one circle. I'm sure I'll have to make modifications in the future. Let's just do a couple. And my plan is to eventually have these all kind of filtered with certain things so that we'll have certain allocations for iron and certain for copper. And we can have some cars with different filters on them so it won't exactly be the same for each one. But for now, let's continue extending this along. I probably want to space out the... Yeah. So... Crap, I didn't plan this out well enough. So I need to space out my products so that way there's not too much compression in terms of like my cars being stacked on top of each other. So we'll start like this for iron. And we'll just do like every other tile, if that makes sense. In fact, I can use my bots to help me. I forget that I have them. They're slow, but they're kind of helpful. Alright, this will cover iron plate for now. We'll, I'm sure, make tons of modifications to this in the future. But this is just to really kind of get my new base up and running. I definitely need to build some sort of mall over here. So that will be one of the top priorities because until then, I'm still just using everything over there for my production. And it looks like I probably have a crisis over there of, I'm guessing, not enough fuel and therefore not any power. But I'll address that in just a minute. Until then, let's just try and get this up and running as best I can. And I'm going to put a pause here in the belt line there, so that way the cars... Whoops, looks like I'm having a crisis of my car up there. But my cars will end there, and then we can put, I guess, a couple filters on there, at least for the iron plate. This poor car got misaligned on the belt, it looks like. That is the downside to manually placing the cars on there. If you use the loader like Elazin has provided, it will help ensure the cars get placed 100% correctly. Okay, so for now, let's do a row of iron plate. We can maybe do a row for copper plate. And this is one of the advantages to the car bus thing that I'm envisioning, is that this will hold all sorts of resources in a much tighter bit of space. Like this takes up like 4 tiles or something like that. So I can really basically deliver a lot of supplies in a short amount of space that a main bus system cannot do. We'll give some of this to steel. We'll do half of that to steel. We can do the other half of this row to stone ore. We'll do some to stone brick for now. There it is. And then we'll do this part to coal. And then just so I don't get an overflow of these products, I'm going to do a random thing. We'll do fish. Fish is a good thing to have as a filter because I never plan on having it supplied via a main bus system, so I should never have to worry about this actually getting used. And I guess if it does, fish isn't the most horrible thing to have in there. But okay, so we'll put that in there. Just, I guess, to stop them blinking. Since I've added in the filter, let's just put a little bit of wood in there. Since I'll have to get rid of these trees here eventually. Anyway, let's put the stuff in there before the bots take it. I do have wood as one of those auto trash things. But yeah, here is how the filter is looking for now. I'm sure I will modify this in the future because we'll want to have cars that have rows for like circuits and stuff like that. But this is just, like I said, to get me basically up and running. We do need power here though. So there is iron plate. Of course, we have to add it in the circuitry now, so I have a blueprint. This is also basically just one of Elazin's features that he included for his car smelter design thingy. And I'll have to do this by hand. I cannot really explain to you how this works, but it does. I'm not very good at circuitry myself or this type of thing. A lot of you, I'm sure, are much better than I am. So let me make sure I get this right. So that's... Ooh. I apparently do have a couple combinators on me. So if I put this in my trash there, the bots should fill it in automatically for me. That way I don't risk messing it up. And then for the timers, looks like I need red wire instead of green. That's okay. Oh, question is, where does this hook into? And what is that one? Arithmetic combinator. Okay, the bots should be delivering it. Yep, there it is. There's a single bot that will deliver the arithmetic combinator here. That's a constant combinator, which I think should be in the bot inventory somewhere. Yep. There they go. Okay, so that's working now, but instead of hooking it up here, I want to hook it up over there. So I think this is the one it's hooked into. So I'm just right-clicking here, and I'm copying the same condition that's on this belt over to this one. Now I can get rid of that, and that way it is hooked up correctly. So how I have this set is that there will basically be a pause as long as the signal is less than or equal to 12. The exact circuitry and how this is timed up, like I said, cannot explain, but I know that this works, so by process of just basically applying this over here, this should therefore work as well. So let's continue to hook this up to a couple more stops like that for now, and then again copying the conditions to the additional things here. So to make sure it works, let's put a pause there just in case, and then we'll hook up the belts again. All right, so that's working so good so far. It looks like I need to extend the belt over by 1. It's just not quite reaching it well enough. So pause there. We'll get rid of these guys. We'll, whoops. Extend this over by 1. And there we go. So these will start filling. I may need to adjust the timing of this a little bit, either by probably lengthening the tick time where it's paused for, but this is just kind of a trial run just to make sure it works. Did I break it? Come on, car. Why aren't you moving? Oh, there we go. That's why. Oh no, crap. Fail, fail, fail. I don't want my crap to be going onto the shoot. All right, well, fail number 1. Whoops. Oh no. Oh, I'm trying to catch up to my iron plate. I don't want the iron plate to be going onto the line. Oh no. See, that's why this is definitely a testing phase, and I've tried to preface my plans and designs and ideas and stuff like that as just exactly that so far. It's a concept, but whether I can implement that successfully is still to be determined. We very well might test this and decide that it does not work. Crap. Okay, so that may mean, I mean, we have to have, there we go. So it's just possible that my, where I had the cars located wasn't positioned properly. Again, that's why it will be nice to have a Lazen's loader eventually. But you can see there, this concept, oh crap, apart from the fact that I don't have the right filters. So this concept worked. So iron plate was placed into the trunk of the car. Crap, how was this set up? Like that? Sure. Where's my blueprint? I think for some reason with all of the Factorio patches that have been released, so this is 17.23 now, all of my blueprints in game are missing, and that's not a huge deal because I can just go over to previous saves and then just make additional blueprints or import my past blueprints and stuff like that, but that is kind of annoying. Regardless, so here the cars are making the rounds again. Now, oh, these are all like off center. That's the problem. Okay, so let me copy the condition. We're gonna put it more centered with the belt line here and redo it. So let's trash those and we'll replace them. Whoops. Replace. Onto the belt when we can. And I've been so distracted with this, I've been completely, oh shoot, I need to make my way over there in just a minute. Oh crap, is my filter settings, oh man, I have to redo it. Damn it. Okay. All right, so the trick will be to see if once the car has made its full rotation again, whether the car gets misaligned again. If it does, that will be a huge problem. But we'll let this make a couple rotations. Like that. Oh, I should have copied the conditions. All right, oh well. One car to test it out is fine. Like I said, I'll have to adjust the timers, I'm sure. We'll have to hook it up into these additional belts over here as well. But that gives me some time for the car to make a couple rotations for me to go over and fix all of the blinking and alarms and stuff that are going over at the spaghetti base, because I have a power crisis over there, I am sure, which means I'm getting attacked and not having the ability to defend myself. I think that's what's going on. So I'll be right back once I've gone and hopefully fix what's going on over there. Wow, I am returning to a complete brownout here at the original base. And stuff is getting destroyed. What? Oh, from up top. Damn. Okay, I don't have any fuel on me. Is there any fuel in boxes or anything like that that I can borrow just to get it up and running again? Oh man, this is what I get for ignoring this for too long. And for prioritizing my new base over this old base. Okay, thankfully I have some coal and wood stored up in here. No, don't auto trash the wood anymore. Give it to me. I will take the wood as my fuel source. And unfortunately I can't burn power poles and stuff like that anymore, or else I would be glad to. But this is also a product of me doing some research. I was trying to research I think military upgrades and stuff like that, and with as limited coal as I have coming in, researching stuff like that for as long as I was doing it at the same time is not a good combination. Hopefully I was able to put in enough fuel to kind of kickstart my fuel process again for at least solid fuel, and then the limited coal production that I have going on down there. Wow, you can see my power is just in the red, even though stuff is turning on. Alright, why is this not kicking out anything? Because I don't have enough petroleum. And I'm not getting petroleum or light fuel. Okay, light fuel is working. That's good. Probably not sustainable enough to give me all the solid fuel that I need, but what I can do is borrow a couple more chemical plants, which I have right here. Let's grab a stack. And we'll just add a couple more here. There we go. We'll replace these guys there. Wow. Hopefully my base can recover. It looks like it is. I'm just gonna have to avoid doing any research anytime soon to let this kind of build up and let my fuel build up again. But I think we are safe to go back to the new base and continue building, continue working on the disaster setup that I have over there currently with how my belt loading timing thing is going. But nevertheless, I will see you guys over there. Alright, I made it back to the testing area. Let's see where my car ended up. Okay, so it's over here. I wonder if it's made a full rotation. I would think so in the time that I spent over at the spaghetti base. So let's stop it here so that way when it gets over here we can take a look at it. And then in the meantime, let's continue hooking up stuff over here. And we'll just keep on adding in the conditions here. So there's stone brick. And we'll just do every other tile. There we go. Where's that car? Okay, there it is. And I'm actually going to request, I know I have some wood over here to this base. And it looks like it is. It gets off center. That is not good. So even though I had this start in the center, for whatever reason, something is moving it. So Darn it. I may have to play with this. Either add in a couple things to kind of resituate it, or see if I can add in a Lazen's thing, like I said, to properly get it onto the belt lines. But that will be very disappointing if I can't get this to work. Let's take this back. Let's just do a little bit more testing with a couple more cars. Add in the filter again. And then we'll add a little bit of wood just to get it to stop blinking. All right, let's have it do a couple more rotations. We'll keep on testing it. I'll keep on adding the lines, and then I'll see you guys in just a minute. Well, the cars just got done making a full rotation, and it basically failed. It's like once they do a full rotation, or at some point in the rotation, they get off center and they go more towards the true center of the base instead of staying in the middle of the lane here, which is very disappointing. So at this point, I think I need to do a little bit more testing to see at what point they get off track, and then see if I can fix it or make some modifications to redirect the car to stay in the middle of the lane. All right, so my first suggestion at fixing this is to get rid of this little junction here. That way that's just uniform with how this connects up. And then at the point when we decide to add in this kind of car filter thing in the future, we can further test it from there. But the first thing I want to do is kind of a control to see if just pure rotation around here without any changes to the belt dynamics will fix the problem. All right, I'm going to test with just 2 cars this time, but let's hop in yet again and we'll make the rotation and see if it works this time. Here I am about to round that problematic curve where that junction used to be. So it'll be interesting to see if after we round it, whether I still feel like I'm centered on the lane here. Which, maybe? This may be promising. The only way to know for sure... Oh, God. Well, I guess that answers my question, doesn't it? Oh, but let's hop in. Looks like there's just a tree in the way. So that may be a good sign, because previously the cars would get off the track a little bit, so it would bypass that tree. But if it's getting stuck there, like it does there on that tree, maybe that's a good sign. So hold on. Let's see. The trick will be whether the inserters can start filling into the car. If it can, that means the car is at least staying on track enough to make rotations around the entire thing. And looks like, oh, I am just barely off center. Dang, okay, so who knows? Maybe if I didn't have those trees in the way, it would have been fixed. So let's do a little bit more testing. Yes, look down here. This is my first successful car that has made more than one, or at least one full rotation around the entire thing, and stayed enough center in the track to start loading again on the next rotation. So let's do a couple more rotations, make sure it's not just a fluke or something. I know there were a couple instances where it got stuck on trees and I had to go get rid of those. In fact, that's what happened up here, and these got completely off track, so I've got to go fix that. So I definitely want to do more testing, but this is the first bit of promise, the promised car right here. Here the car comes around again. Yep, that's the same car. Moment of truth here. Yes, and it looks perfectly centered with the lane right here, just like it did when it started. Phew, I feel so much better. I feel very relieved. The test will be to see now if the other cars can do it as well. Like I said, this one got stuck on a tree or something like that, so I want to make sure that this car isn't just a weird fluke in itself. But if I can get multiple cars to consistently be able to make the rotation, then I think we're going to be in business. It's not just a fluke, you guys. Here are the 2 other cars. They've been making the rotations. They're getting full. I put a couple of my personal things in there because I was full of my own inventory, but the point being that it was able to go around and get stuff inserted into it yet again. So I think I can safely say that this concept, at least with how it's laid out now, works. Whether it will work when I add in kind of the belt car filter thing up here in the future, that's to be determined. But in terms of what I have working right now, I think we're going to be in business. So at this point, I need to add more cars onto the lane here. We've got to get more starting to get buffered with the stuff that's supplying into them via these lanes. And then we need to start adding in some factories that will start to use the stuff that's in the cars. But I think for that, we're going to wait until episode 19 to do that. I meant to do more stuff that would actually involve moving into the base here for this episode, but obviously we didn't have enough time for that because it was all spent testing. Nevertheless, I hope you guys appreciated this type of episode because you can actually see what it takes to fix things and troubleshoot and actually do some testing. So with that said, I hope you guys will continue to join me for the future episodes. In particular, episode 19 will start to actually use this new technology and start to move into the new base.